Big Polly's World of Sports Sims proudly presents the latest two Monarch of the Mat circuit qualifiers, one coming out of Minneapolis and the other from St. Louis. It is still week 17. I know we're falling behind on the schedule a little bit, but that's I don't really actually run this on a schedule. I don't try to keep up with the time of year that we're on, and that's just fine. Let me just introduce myself to you all. My name is Big Polly. And tonight we have a couple of big matches to continue to determine the 18 men that will make the final stage, kind of like the final stage of the World Cup of Soccer of the Monarch of the Mat tournament. If you are in the top 15 of your group, of your circuit, you qualify for the tournament proper. Pardon me a moment, folks. I always hate to cough when I'm doing an open, but I don't edit this out. I just leave it the way it is, because in your life and in my life, stuff happens. So I'm just going to leave that in. If you're in the top 15 of your circuit, the soon-to-be once again 18 circuits of GSW with Chicago now coming on board, maybe their matches will wind up airing on the Dumont network. Because that's back when Chicago was a big wrestling hotbed. That's when wrestling matches were first televised for the first time, and that's when Chicago was a part of the NWA, and that was back when there was a Dumont network, before ABC came along. Or actually, no, it was NBC, ABC, CBS, and Dumont. There was 4 networks before. They were 3 for many years, and then Fox came along. But I'm digressing. So tonight we're going to play out the Minneapolis and the St. Louis finals of the Monarch of the Mat tournament. Tune in Sunday. We're going to have a very big match for the World Championship. Dory Funk Jr. and Bruno Sammartino. And we have some news to pass along while we're doing the matches that will be of interest to you. Here's your championship roll call, all up to date. Since I was with you last, there have been no title changes. And here are the circuit winners going into tonight. Hulk Hogan and Freddie Blasty, the latest to join the list. And if you're a 1 seed, you'll get a higher seed in the final stage. And if there are ties, like we have a whole bunch of 2 seeds, they'll be broken by a random draw. And whoever draws the best gets the highest position. So we move on, and we're going to show you what has happened in the Minneapolis tournament as soon as I can bring it up. There we go. And there you see our 2 combatants. It is Big Van Vader and it is Vern Gagne, or you call him Gagne or Gagne. I think he would respond either way. Maybe one way you get punched in the throat, but nonetheless, it's a Lawrence Welk tournament, a Lawrence Welk final, a 1 and a 2 between these two. So let's go back and show you how these 2 men got to their position. It was the Masked Assassin over Great Antonio, Disco Inferno, and Lance Storm, 3 of his fellow buddy bad guys, and it was the Assassin prevailing to get the 16 seed. So if you're out of the top 15 in your circuit, you have to qualify through a battle royal, and you have to expend a little energy doing it. In the first round proper, it was Yokozuna losing to Duke Keamuka. Roland Bach over Killer Kowalski. Braun Wright out of East Tennessee, he'll give you an East Tennessee dog whooping over Johnny Saint. Bronco Nagurski surprised Kendo Nagasaki, a 12 beating a 5, and we've had a lot of that in the tournament, kind of like the NCAA basketball tournament. See a lot of 12s beating a lot of 5s. Nick Bockwinkel and Earl McCready drew, and under the tournament rules, the higher seed, if there is a draw, a double countout, or a double DQ, automatically advances. Kurt Angle over Pero Aguayo, who was making his GSW debut. Vern Gagne over Kaz Sakuraba. Big Van Vader drew with Masked Assassin, and Assassin came in a little fatigued, having already worked 1 match. Let me just double check something here while I'm thinking about it. And actually, no, we're all set to go. Whoops. Okay. Vader and Masked Assassin went to a draw. Vader advanced. Bronco Nagurski pulled off another upset in the quarterfinals. And in the quarterfinals, the time limit is moved up to 45 minutes. And Nagurski over Bronco in 21-14. Kurt Angle over Ron White. Vern Gagne and Roland Bach had a hell of a match, five-star match. Gagne finally won on a Gagne sleeper at 34-56. Killer Kowalski interfered with Bach, and Gagne interfered with. Actually, it was Kurt Angle interfering with Vern, and in each instance they drew blood on their in-ring foe. So it was double juice in the match, but it wasn't one guy hitting the other and the other hitting one guy. Big Van Vader over Duke Keamuka by countout, and we had our four semifinalists. Vern Gagne over Kurt Angle, so he gets revenge. Gagne came in impaired, and he will come into this match impaired because he was busted open, and we count that as a disadvantage going into the future matches. Big Van Vader easily over Bronco Nagurski, ending Nagurski's Cinderella run. And that sets up our match. Vern Gagne and Big Van Vader. It's one fall. It's 60 minutes in time. Should we have a non-winner, Vader will automatically advance through to the final stage, as he is the one seed, and that's why you compete all year. In order to get the higher seed, and that will sometimes come into play in these tournaments. We'll have the Okerlund Cup tag team tournament coming up in the summer, and we look forward to that. It won't be as time-consuming as this tournament is, but it's a good way to find who is the best in wrestling's finest. We'll have a brand new Monarch of the Mat champion this year because Andre the Giant already lost in New York to Bruno Sammartino, and Farmer Burns, who won the last two tournaments, has retired. So it's Big Van Vader, it's Vern Gagne, and it's one fall, 60 minutes in time. Vader comes in 3-3-2 on the year. Gagne is 4-2-1. And off we go. A legal leg drop by Vader. Legal turnbuckle move, and Gagne in some early trouble, but he'll kick out of it. Submission move on already. Vader putting the pressure on Gagne. I think Vader's got to have to try to win this quick. Auto control loss over to Vern. He's already going for a specialty move. A flying body press, but no pin. He gets to the count of 2, and that's it. A headlock by Gagne. Legal throat chop. And Gagne's not going to be pinned this early. We are 3 minutes in to a 60-minute time limit bout. Illegal punches by Vader. You knew he was going to do that, right? Gagne's going to have the stamina edge, as he will only lose 4 points when he loses a stamina level on his 1 and 2 counts, and Vader will lose 5. Legal throw by Gagne. Of course, Vader ain't going to go for that because Vader's a much larger man. He was known in AWA as Leon Bull Power White. I think he had a pro football career before all that. And a kick by Vader. Legal power move by Vader. Vader has a huge size advantage on Gagne, some 200 pounds. Fan interaction, the crowd getting behind Vern, hoping he could pull it off tonight and advance to the big money in the final 18. No action by Gagne. Ropes move countered by Gagne. Trying to perform by Vader. Pin hold. And the rolling reverse is not going to work. Of course, with the size differential, it probably wouldn't. Outside ring action. Outside ring action. As I change a couple of things in my OBS. Gagne using punches. A legal speed move. Referee will give these two men latitude, but it would not be totally beyond the realm of possibility for either one to be DQ'd. Gagne goes for a pinhold, counter by Vader, legal neck hold by Vader, legal arm hold by Gagne. And right now we are at minus 29 for Vader, minus 51 for Gagne in terms of damage. And with the damage being accumulated, you lose stamina levels, and it makes it more likely you get pinned in the future course of the match. Auto control loss back to Vader. Legal choking, but that's countered by Gagne. Vern going for an illegal choke of his own, and he hits it. Submission move, Cobra clutch it looked like, and Vader slips out of that. So play attempt. Oh, you're not going to get the big man. You're not going to get the big man here. Disqualify check. Vader using punches, auto control loss. Specialty move, Gagne sleeper, but you're not going to get Vader because he has a 0 right now on the submission, the third count of a submission. Disqualify check, whip to the ropes countered, legal whip to the ropes by Vader, and power move does not result in a pin. Looks like Gagne has lost the stamina level and Vader is about to. Auto control loss, back to Gagne. In control, Gagne sleeper, and that's countered. Legal forearm. Will Vader have the stamina to go 60 minutes here? His stamina is 5. In other words, it loses 5 points with every stamina hit. Gagne is going to be in much better shape as the match progresses, although he has already lost 1 stamina level. Auto control loss, submission move, suplex attempt, and he got him up. How about that? Vertical suplex on a man 200 pounds heavier than him. That's something. Punches used by Gagne. Drop kick, pinpoint, drop kick. Oh, an 18 on the 3 count when he needed 7 or under. No action. Disqualified check. Vader using punches. And Vader has now dropped a stamina level. Legal throw by Vader. No. So we're 17:03 into the bout. Gagne countered a submission move. Headlock by Gagne. And that's what he needs to do. Just keep it very simple and technical. Strategy card used and countered by Vader. Gagne in control. Vader gets tossed out of the ring by Vern. So that adrenaline flowing in the former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. He was the AWA champion about 143 times. Legal leg hold by Gagne and a legal arm hold by Gagne. I exaggerate. I think it was somewhere around 11 times Gagne was AWA champ. Legal neck hold, legal chop, legal throw. Of course, they made Vern the initial AWA champ when they seceded from the NWA. They wanted Pat O'Connor to face Vern. O'Connor was also a fellow babyface, so that wasn't going to happen. So they gave Vern the AWA title. No action, and he won it and lost it several times. Drop kick, another pinpoint drop kick, and that could have been pinnable there because it was 40-40-17. But it's not to be. Auto control loss, another auto control loss, and how about a third? And a kick by Gagne, or Vern. Headlock by Vern. Legal throw by Vern, and right now it's minus 139 off of Vader's total and only 88 off of Vern. But Vern's got to get a pinfall here. Vader does not. Because if they go to a draw, then it's Vader who advances. Pinhold, rolling reverse, and he needed a 3 on the 3 count and got an 18. Fan interaction, cat calls against Vader. Vader doesn't really strike me as a guy who would care about fan interaction, so I don't know about that. Clothesline. Gagne quickly gets out of the way. Legal whip to the ropes. Submission move. Indian deathlock. No. There was a 0 on the third submission roll. Abdominal stretch. That's going to slow him down a little bit, but it's not going to get a submission, at least now. Gagne. Inside cradle. Oh, he just missed. A 21 on the 3 count roll. He needed an 18 or under. Legal throw. Countered by Gagne. Was going for a pinhold. It was countered by Vader. Legal whip to the ropes. No. And on we go. A legal elbow. These two have had matches in the Minneapolis circuit, but I think for the most part, that has been undecisive. Body slam by Vern. And Vader's been taking on all comers. He's been taking on good guys and bad guys in Minneapolis, like Nick Bockwinkel. Countered. Legal chop. Legal eye gouge. He thinks he's bad, so he's going to take on everybody. Eye gouge by Vern. Oh, he wants to win this Minneapolis circuit final qualifier here. Pinhold. No pin. Auto control loss back to Vern, who uses arm holds. Right now it is 208 off of Vader. Vader getting very tired, and Vern still fresh of the debut at only 97 points off. So Vader really getting winded, and he throws the rule book out the window and attacks Vern Gagne with no regard for anything, and it's a disqualification. And like I told you, with the minus 10 DQ rules, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that you could see a disqualification. But Vader just throws his shot at advancing away, and Gagne is going to win by DQ. He'll pick up 2 points in the ratings for the win, in the rankings. And he's going to be number one in Minneapolis. But he's also going to qualify and face some of GSW's finest in the Monarch of the Mat Final 18. So, Vern Gagne, another number 2 seed, is going to go into the final stage of the tournament. And that was a shame that it got decided that way, but I think Vader just got to the point where he knew he was getting tired, and he knew that Vern was running circles around him, and he just stopped caring. The 2-point loss is not really going to hurt his title chances any. So he will advance, Vern will advance, and he'll be another number 2 seed that has made the final stage. I think we've had at least 3 so far that have made it as a 2 seed. So I'm going to get the next match set up. If you would stand by, please, I'll have something to show you. And it's this. And I'll talk to you while I have the screen up, because I want to do a little surprise reveal on who the finalists in St. Louis were, and I'll just talk you through it a little bit while I get the match set up behind my little screens. And what happened was this: we had one of the competitors who was making his debut in the GSW with this tournament, and he has done very, very well. And he is going to face another fan favorite who has really battled hard and is a former champion, has been part of the tag scene, and he has done very well in St. Louis. But the fellow he's going to face is going to give him a real tough time. And it's not a name that you're going to know right away. It's another one of these guys who has been in the old days of professional wrestling. Was around in the early 20th century, but he has done very well in this tournament. As I continue to set a couple of things up and go through some particulars. Yes, we're on Facebook now. That's one of the things I did for the first anniversary of this channel, is I have set up a Facebook group. And the way to get to it is just to search for Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims, as I have it there in the graphic on Facebook. That's probably the fastest path to it, without going through a whole bunch of numbers and letters at the end, and it'd be hard for anybody to remember. But if you want to join that group, it is a fledgling group. I only have 2 members right now, myself and Luke Brown. So if you're part of the sports sim community and you want to see what's going on with the channel, I'll have the information posted. I do a post at least every day on it. I also have a blog. Let me show you that. And everything I post on the blog, I'm going to post on the Facebook group. So we're almost ready to go, as I chew on a little piece of French fry that I had right before the stream started. Trying to figure out, okay, do we have an injury situation here? And the answer right now is coming back. Let's see. Just going through the earlier matches each of these guys had to see if they were busted open or anything like that, and the answer is no. I was at the trade hold recommendations. We're almost there, folks. Just stand by. And I will reveal to you now that the finalists in the St. Louis tournament are these 2 men. Magnum TA, who with America's team with Dusty Rhodes has won the GSW World Tag Team titles on 2 occasions, and one of the great Cinderella stories we have had so far in these Monarch of the Mat tournaments is Everett Marshall, and we will go through how he has cut quite a path through this tournament. We began with a 4-man battle royal: Ed Don George, Gene Anderson, Terry Gordy, and that's late Terry Gordy, the late era of Terry Gordy. There is also a 80 minus card for Terry Gordy in Wrestling's Finest, but which, by the way, is what we use to determine the outcomes of these matches. And the preliminary wrestler who just passed away a couple months ago in Don Serrano, and it was Ed Don George outlasting Gene Anderson to make the 16 seed. So we went to the first round, and remember, when we have draws, double DQs, double disqualifications, the higher seed advances, because it happened 5 times in the first round. Vampiro went to a draw with Wildfire Tommy Rich. Tommy Rich does what he always seems to do best, and he bled a lot in this match. Went to a 30-minute draw, so Vampiro, the automatic advancer. Ray Steele got a pin over AJ Styles with a crotch and head hold, and I did not get the time of that. So if that ever happens to you, let me just go back here and just show you that it was 22:45 the time of that fall, and I could just type it in here. We edit on the fly here, folks, and it's not 22. No, back. What are you doing? 22:45. And there. Okay. Okay, so Ray Steele advanced. Giant Haystacks and Carlos Roca went to a 30-minute draw somehow, and Haystacks automatically advanced, even though he was busted open in that bout. Steve Austin and Chris Tolos a double count out, and that's another match where, oh no, I have it over here, 15:55 was the time, and Steve Austin advanced. Everett Marshall defeated Harley Race to get to the quarterfinals, a 13 beating of 4, and that was because Ray Steele interfered with him. And that's another match where I didn't get the time. So let me bore you all to tears again and get the time at the Paul, because I always put it in my Delphi forums. And by the way, the information that I put on the Delphi boards, I'm also going to put on my Facebook group. So you'll see the evolution of these matches as never before. You just follow me on the YouTube GSW matches of the week. So Everett Marshall advanced. Then it was Magnum TA Danny McShane. Makings of a feud there. They went to a double count out. Pat O'Connor drew with Wild Red Berry, 30-minute draw. Berry's going to pick up a boatload of points for the draw because he was 50 points, ranked 50 points behind Pat O'Connor. So he gets 2 for the draw and then 5 as a bonus. Luthez, there are several Luthez cards in the game, but I use 49 minus because that was at the peak of his career. And by the way, if you ever want to read a great book about the early days of wrestling, read Hooker by Luthez. It's on Kindle. In fact, I'm going to try to read that again real soon. Ed Don George was Lou's opponent, and it was Thez by pin in just 1 minute. So Thez came in rare form. In the quarterfinals, Steve Austin lost Everett Marshall. Kind of a babyface match, but Austin, as he often does, came in and said to the cameras, DTA, don't trust anybody. But it's Marshall who advanced on an airplane spin, 2019. Magnum TA, easy over the bloodied Giant Haystacks. Ray Steele pulled off an upset over Pat O'Connor, Flying Mare, 38 minutes in. And Luthez beat Vampiro very easily with the Fez Press. We then moved on to the semifinals. Magnum TA and Ray Steele went to a double countout, with TA being the 3 seed automatically advanced. So that was, let me see here, the only That was the second time tonight TA advanced by not winning. Lou Thez was upset by Everett Marshall, and Marshall has become the Cinderella story of these MOTM qualifiers. He knocked off Thez 31-27 with an airplane spin. So we are going to set up the match here for you. It's a babyface match. It's one fall, 60-minute time limits. But I'm sure with this being a circuit final, they're going to let it all hang out here in this match to determine who advances to the final stage. So let's take a look. Everett, undefeated 3-0, but he won all those matches tonight. You see Magnum TA back in his heyday before his automobile accident, his tragic automobile accident, which ended his career. He was probably headed for big things. I think they would have put the title on him. I think he would have gotten into a feud with, if you want to believe this, I think he would have gotten into a feud with Dusty Rhodes. I think they would do the Andre the Giant thing in the WWF, and they would have made Rhodes a heel, and it would have been a great feud between TA and Rhodes. And then at some point, I think they would have turned TA heel and had him challenge Ric Flair, maybe. Magnum meets Dusty severely in a match, and then even the heel Ric Flair sees it and says, "Hey, stop it!" And they do kind of sort of a triple turn, where you turn Dusty face, Ric Flair face, and you turn Magnum heel. That would have been my idea, but I've never got a chance to write the scripts. Okay, so both these men in prime form, and we are going to get this very interesting match up and going here. Magnum has 78 force stamina, but Marshall has 80 force stamina. This is a match that could easily go 60, I would think, but they're going to let it all hang out here. The bell has rung, and we're 20 seconds in. No action. Neck hold by TA. Legal hold countered by TA, countered by Marshall. Marshall went for a kick. That was countered. So both of these men, very fine shape, even though they have each been in 3 matches tonight already. This is being their 4th each. Legal whip to the ropes. Almost a pin chance there, as there was 2 on the 3 count, and the roll was 4. So TA almost with a very quick win. A legal throw. And you got to wonder how much stamina is going to play into this match with both these guys competing 3 times and Marshall having the longer matches than TA has had for the most part. A pin hold. No pin. But neither of these guys come in paired. Legal chop countered by Marshall. Marshall goes for a legal neck hold. And a front chancery. And another legal neck hold. He's cranking down on that neck. Suplex attempt by TA countered by Marshall. Marshall goes for the legal whip to the ropes. No pin. Legal punches by Marshall. So things are going to get a little feisty in this match. But I think both these guys are going to want to win, and they're going to flirt with some shortcuts here, I would think. Pinhold. One thing I always liked about Magnum was his intensity. He had a heel-like intensity, even though he was a babyface. Everett has control of full Nelson, countered by TA. TA a disqualify check. See, I told you. And a possible DQ being stopped. Fan interaction, and Magnum has some fans here in the St. Louis area. Of course, he's originally from Virginia, and he traveled across the country. I think he was in Portland at one point. I think he was in Florida, the Championship Wrestling from Florida circuit back in its late heydays. And then he really caught fire in Mid-Atlantic. Fan interaction, auto control loss, no action, auto control loss, and a kick by TA. And since we're in St. Louis, there's no pro football team he could wind up being a kicker for, at least at this point in time. I was going to say the St. Louis Rams, but they now won't play in LA. Legal punches by TA, suplex attempt, no pin. Disqualify check, and TA using arm holds, keeping it scientific, keeping it real. A body slam by Magnum. Leads to a legal forearm, so TA winning the battle early here in this first 9:17. Suplex attempt, no pin. Only a 1 or a 2 would have gotten the 3 count there. By the way, Magnum TA came into this match 3-0-3, 3 wins, no losses, 3 draws, which include double countouts, double DQs, and he drew Danny McShane and he drew Ray Steele in this tournament. And Marshall is coming in undefeated. This is his GSW debut. This is his fourth match, not only tonight, but in his GSW career. We're probably going to be hearing a lot more of them. Auto control loss, kick by Marshall, traded, legal power move by Marshall. Throws him to the mat. Disqualify check. Again, arm holds used by Magnum. Kick by TA. In control. Atomic drop. Oh, just again, he just got unlucky there as a 3 was rolled on the 3 count. He needed a 1 or a 2. So that's like the second time already in this bout. Magnum was 1 away from winning. Legal forearm, 1 count away from winning. Pin holds. Total pin attempts by the way, it's already 7 for TA and 2 for Everett Marshall. As I look at the phone and seeing spam risk, so I'm just going to leave that alone and just let it ring. Speed move by TA. This is far more interesting than talking to a telemarketer who just wants your money. And they'll claim they're with the firefighters, and then they'll call back and say, oh, we're with the police. We still want your money. Yeah, right. Pin hold. Pin hold by a Marshall. No pin. No action. Submission move by TA. Body slam by TA. Again, a 1 or a 2. Would have gotten it done. No action, but that one was way off. Auto control loss back to Marshall. Marshall with a legal neck hold. It's 42 off of TA and 126 off of Marshall right now. Legal arm hold. Kick by TA. Body slam by TA. Countered. Back to Marshall. Marshall with a kick. Mule kick to the head. Ooh, that's going to ruffle some feathers. Power move. A choke slam by Marshall. I don't know where he learned that, being an early century, 20th century grappler. Power move by Marshall. Illegal power move by Marshall. Clothesline. Legal knee to the forehead of TA. He's trying to bust him up a little bit. Arm hold here. Another 5 points off. A legal forearm. 1937 the roll. It needed a 30-29 too, so it got to a 2 count, but not a 3, not by a long shot. Boston Crab by Marshall. So Marshall, it's kind of like a fighter who always starts slow, and he's catching fire now. He's cut the damage gap down to 48 points. It was way wider just a few minutes ago. Auto control loss back to TA, who loses control automatically again. No action. And we have, we have Marshall nailing TA as he tries to re-enter the ring, knocking him back to the floor. 10 points off of TA's total. Looks like both of these guys have dropped a little stamina. Arm hold by Marshall. Disqualify check. Illegal punches by Marshall. You gotta remember, he comes from an older time when, guys, you would use real holds on each other, so I would expect an old-timer like Marshall to play dirty, but TA, like I said, he had that burning, I wouldn't say burning man, but he was somebody who could quickly get a temper, so you don't want to piss off TA. Legal forearm by TA, speak of the devil, into a legal chop, and again, Marshall kicks out of it. He's up to 9 pin attempts so far in this match as Magnum, and we're 24-47 into the bout. Remember, if it's a tie, if it's a draw, if it's a double DQ or countout, it goes to TA for being the higher seed. Specialty move, belly-to-belly suplex, and that's the match. Magnum TA is going to the final stage, 26:06 being the time, and Marshall has suffered his first loss in GSW, though he had a very good run in this tournament. It is Magnum TA, the 3 seed in this St. Louis tournament, who is going to advance to the final stage. So, Magnum by pin. And it is, okay, so it was 133-118 coming into this match. So he picks up 3 points in the rankings. 26:05, the time, the old belly-to-belly that he always used to use in Mid-Atlantic, and it drove the crowd absolutely bonkers whenever he did it. And if you've never seen a belly-to-belly suplex, it's exactly what it is. He catches He catches his foe and he holds him for just a split second, and then he does an overhead toss with his foe, and that was his finisher back in the day. 3.5 stars, so the fans liked this match, and so did I. Hope you all enjoyed these last couple of matches we just did. This has been Big Paulie coming to you this April 29, 2020 with back-to-back matches in the Monarch of the Mat qualifying tournaments, the circuit qualifiers, the finals of the Minneapolis and St. Louis circuits. We hope everybody is well tonight, or whenever you see this, wherever you see this. Tonight is the night of the NFL Draft, so go catch that on the variety of networks it will be on tonight. I think it's one of the most broadcast events outside of the State of the Union address these days. So everybody enjoy your night and the upcoming weekend as we move headstrong into the month of May. And I start my second year doing these broadcasts for you, these streams. So Godspeed and God bless, and we'll do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.